Krishna, is everybody in ecstasy by hearing the soothing kirtan? Anybody in ecstasy? Okay. Let's start with the invocation. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamlam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijan Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishavanu Devi Pranamami Haripriya Panchakalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, thank you all for coming. Quick announcement for those of you who are in Toronto and around area. So there's an opportunity to reciprocate with our dear Dwarkanath Prabhu. He makes super excellent offerings as well as he always keeps prasadam for us. So Dwarkanath Prabhu has requested that on next Sunday, not tomorrow, but following Sunday, December 29th, from 6:15 p.m. onwards, we do a Maha cleanup of Srimati Radharani's kitchen. So I request all of you to please come and reciprocate with Dwarkanath Prabhu as a thank you to him also, as well as, of course, it's a service. I will anyway post a message for this in the service WhatsApp group that we have. So today we will continue from Bhagavad Gita chapter 3 verse 10 onwards. We will also listen to short lecture extracts from His Grace Chaitanya Chandas. So from verse number 10 is section 2 of this chapter 3. Section 2 is verses 10 to 16 from Karma Kanda to Karma Yoga. That if you are not qualified for Karma Yoga, then practice Karma Kanda. The principle of Yajna is described in this section. So here Krishna gives instruction by contrasting. First Krishna says, do Yajna, then you will stay free from karmic bondage. And then Krishna says that if you satisfy the demigods, then demigods will satisfy you by giving rains and grains, etc. Thus you will live happily and you will attain Shreyas. And then lastly, Krishna says that if you do not follow this process, then you will live in vain. Before we start reading the verses, we also welcome Himanshu Prabhu. He is in the process of getting caught up. As well as Deepa Singh will also be joining. Just today she will be listening to classes. There are a couple of other devotees also planning to join. They will at least listen to recording. They are in the process of listening to recordings. So welcome, and please feel free to ask any and all questions, even though you may still not be fully caught up on your listening to recordings. Abhishek Prabhu, verse number 10 translation.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. 3.10. In the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures sent forth generations of men and demigods, along with the sacrifices for Vishnu, and blessed them by saying, be happy by this yagna, sacrifice, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation.
Okay, read the second paragraph. In the middle, it starts um, with the line by performance of yajna. Read from there.
Mm. By performance of yagna, the conditioned souls gradually become Krishna conscious and become godly in all respects. In the age of Kali, the Sankirtan Yagna, the chanting of the names of God, is recommended by the Vedic scriptures. And this transcendental system was introduced by Lord Chaitanya for the deliverance of all men in this age. Sankirtana Yagna and Krishna consciousness go well together. Lord Krishna, in his devotional form, as Lord Chaitanya, is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32 as follows with special reference to the Sankirtan Yagna. Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Sangapangastu Parshadam Yagna Sankirtana Praya Yajanti Hi Suvedasa. In this age of Kali, people are endowed with sufficient intelligence. With people who are endowed with sufficient intelligence will worship the Lord, who is accompanied by his associates by performance of Sankirtan Yagna. Other yagnas prescribed in the Vedic literature are not easy to perform in this age of Kali, but the Sankirtan Yagna is easy and sublime for all purposes as recommended in Bhagavad Gita also 9.14.
Hmm. So Krishna is saying the system of yajna is there right from the beginning when creation happened. And the essence of yajna is the principle of sacrifice. Yajna is not just the form, but it's more about the principle of sacrifice, that whatever I could have used for myself or whatever time I could have spent for my own enjoyment, I am using it for the satisfaction of the Lord, and that is yajna. Raksha, verse 11 translation, and then I'll explain the paragraph also.
Hare Krishna. The demigods, being pleased by sacrifices, will also please you, and thus, by cooperation between men and demigods, prosperity will reign for all. Hare Krishna.
Read the last paragraph, performance of yajna.
Performance of yajnas has many side benefits, ultimately leading to liberation from material bondage. By performance of yajnas, all activities become purified, as it is stated in the Vedas. Ahara Suddhau Sattva Suddhi Sattva Suddhau Dhruva Smriti Smriti Lambe Sarva Grantham Vipram Moksha. By performance of yagnas, one's eatable becomes sanctified, and by eating sanctified foodstuffs, one's very existence becomes purified. By the purification of existence, finer tissues in the memory become sanctified, and when memory is sanctified, one can think of the path of liberation. And all these combined together lead to Krishna consciousness, the great necessity of present day society.
I've explained this point many times to many devotees offline, that they say, how do we get neophytes onto spirituality path? And the last paragraph clearly explained that don't try to push anyone. Give them prasad. First, let their finer tissues in the memory become sanctified, and then you can talk about philosophy, and it will make sense to them. So Sankirtan is the yajna for Kali Yuga. Yajna is the means by which we harmonize with Supreme Personality of Godhead. So yajna is not to counter the law of karma. Example, somebody may say, oh, there is drought in the area, so let me pray and get rains. But yajna is just meant for satisfaction of the Lord. Our goal is to provide people with proper philosophical education by which they can stop doing bad karma. When they stop doing bad karma, nature will start rewarding. Thus, there will be harmonization. By offering bhoga to the Lord, the eatables are sanctified, and eating sanctified food, existence is purified, resulting in finer tissues in the memory become sanctified. And when memory is sanctified, means purified, one can think on the path of liberation. All these combine lead to Krishna consciousness. Now, to understand what Prabhupada is doing here, the verse is talking about Karma Kanda. But Prabhupada is saying, yes, the verse is talking about Karma Kanda, but he is simultaneously explaining the highest bhakti yoga process. That therefore he says, do Sankirtan Yajna rather than worrying about trying to satisfy the demigods. Everybody on the same page? Questions, comments, realizations?
Hare Krishna, Swami.
Thank you.
This point which you just mentioned is very nice, that like the verse talks about a principle which was like it's a karm kandic principle, even though it's applicable at all times, but like you should know, but Prabhupada is explaining it in a higher sense. And it is also Prabhupada has done this at other different places also, so it's nice to
Very good. Very good, very good hearing with rapt attention and understanding. And you have correctly pointed out that Prabhupada has done this throughout Bhagavad Gita. That the last instruction of Krishna is 18.66 to surrender and do devotional service. Prabhupada has put that instruction throughout Bhagavad Gita because Prabhupada says, Kali people are having short lives, not very much interested in spirituality. Therefore, we see that people start spirituality and then they drop out after a certain time. Therefore, Prabhupada says that even if they are hearing Bhagavad Gita for a little while, they should still get the message of Bhagavad Gita by reading even few pages, even one page. The message of Bhagavad Gita should be available, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and doing devotional service following the Bhakti Yoga process is the easiest process to go back home to Godhead. Very good. Sumnima, verse 12 translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. In charge of the various necessities of life, the demigod, being satisfied by the performance of yajna, sacrifice, will supply all necessities to you. But he who enjoys such gifts without offering them to demigod, in return is certainly a thief. Hare Krishna.
So, question may come up that are demigods dependent for their needs on humans doing the sacrifice? The answer is no. Swargalok or heaven or all these other planets are far more opulent than earth. When Krishna stopped the yajna for Indra, Indra did not feel that he will starve. Indra attacked because he thought he was dishonored or when Shiva was not invited for yajna, which is described in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4. Sati's anger is not that Shiva will starve to death, but the anger is on the dishonor. So the purpose of yajna is to respect the authority. Example, when an authority comes, we respect by garlanding. So the garland is not the necessity, but it is a mark of respect. Similarly, the performance of yajna is not a necessity for demigods. It is a way in which we respect them so that we can get purified. Otherwise, it becomes disrespect and offensive. So Krishna stopped the yajna for Indra during the Govardhan Hill Leela, not because he wanted to stop the system of yajna, but he wanted to break Indra's pride. Demigods are supposed to take respect on behalf of Supreme Lord and pass it along to Supreme Lord, or not that they themselves become God. Everybody on the same page? Chaitanya Prabhu, verse 13 translation.
Hare Krishna. The devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. Others, who prepare food for personal sense enjoyments, rarely eat only sin.
So when we offer bhoga to Krishna, it becomes free from sinful reaction. Now, vegetarianism is important, but vegetarianism is not all important because vegetarianism on itself does not free us from sinful reactions. Vegetarianism does not purify. Yes, it does minimize the sinful reactions, as well as it minimizes the violence by not killing animals. For devotees, the practical way we apply yajna is by offering bhoga to Gopinath and then honoring prasadam. So just as we discussed that there is a principle of yajna and there is a form of yajna. The principle of yajna is that we offer to Krishna and for Krishna's pleasure what we could have used for ourselves. And the form of yajna, of course, many must have seen or heard of about the fire yajna. But Sankirtan yajna, meaning book distribution and congregational chanting, which is Sankirtan yajna, is the yajna for Kali Yuga. So there's a question posted in the chat that Krishna has sent us in the material world because for desire. Is this same applicable to demigods also? Who creates demigods and why? So yes, it applies to demigods also. Demigods are also jiva like you and me. They are at the same jiva tattva level like you and me. And demigods are just ordinary souls. So what's the difference between demigods and us? You can understand with a simple example in an office. In an office, everybody is an employee of the office. Either it's a manager or a staff working, everybody is employee. Manager has special authority to manage the office. Similarly, demigods are given managing powers of the universe, but demigods are appointed by the Lord. It's an upcoming discussion very soon in 4.12. We'll have a heavy conversation about demigods. Does that answer the question? And
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
And yes, demigods, we already read last class that they are Sakam devotees. They have a lot of desires.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, that helps.
So we'll read verses 14, 15, 16 together. But here's a question for you all. Do you all know your duties? Everybody try to answer. Do you know what all duties you have to perform? What are your duties?
No, Prabhuji, I'm very confused on that.
Okay. Rest of you?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
We should do devotional services as much as possible.
Okay. Don't you have family, Ritu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Both are important. We have to prioritize.
Okay. Himanshu Prabhu, go ahead.
Yes, Prabhu. Like, I am a student, so I should first consider my studies along with the balance to spiritual life, along with giving time to my family.
Okay. And Ritu just said completely opposite to what Himanshu is saying. Okay, rest of you. Do you know your duties? Mata?
Yeah, we have material duty and spiritual duty, so we have to take care of both of them.
All right, very good. Rest of you, silence doesn't help me. Please answer. Do you know your duties? Or would you like to know what your duties are?
Prabhuji, yes, we would like to know.
Okay, Malti.
Yes, Prabhuji, would like to know.
Rest of you, silence doesn't help me.
Yes, Prabhu, you tell.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. We also want to know. Like, we are so confused.
Yes, Prabhuji,
Yes,
I also
Prabhu,
want to
your
know.
questions are always so confusing. I am on the second chapter.
Very good. My task is accomplished. So my seemingly innocuous, open-ended questions, you all are living your life, you are all are grown up, some in college, working, and I'm asking a simple question, what are your duties? And many are, so I don't know, I want to know. Very good. My task is accomplished. This is the purpose of my questions, that to make you eager. So let's understand. We'll soon understand what are our duties, not in terms of specifics, but in terms of principle. Okay, let's see. Deep Prabhu, 14 and 15 translations.
Yes, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Text 14. All living bodies subsist on food grains, which are produced from rains. Rains are produced by performance of yagna, sacrifice, and yagna is born of prescribed duties. 15. Regulated activities are prescribed in the Vedas, and the Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, the all-pervading transcendence is eternally situated in acts of sacrifice. Hare Krishna.
So I want everyone to go to 3.14 Sanskrit. And the last line says, Yagya Karma Samudbhava. Yagya means spiritual duties. Karma means material duties. Samudbhava means born together. We'll soon listen a short lecture extract from His Grace Chaitanya Chandas on this very important point. So in these verses 3.14 to 16, the cycle of sacrifice is described. That material bodies come from grains, grains come from rains, and yagya produces rains. And yagya comes from karma. So yagya karma samudbhava. And then in 3.16 we'll soon read that the chakra or the cycle is completed when living entities come to know about the Vedas and live according to Vedas and do their karma as well as their spiritual duties side by side, because All this is described in Vedas. Now, those of you who do not complete your spiritual endeavors, including those of you who listen to recordings but do not complete the spiritual endeavor, listen very closely to this discussion in 3.14 about Yajna Karma Samudbhava, and listen to Chaitanya Chandas's lecture. So I'll play the lecture in two parts so that we can absorb everything. And then we'll also come back to discussing as to what exactly are my prescribed duties. So it's about completing your spiritual endeavors. Some of you complete it very, very late. So it's very good that you complete, but try to discipline yourself. We have discussed this on day 1, that discipline is our starting point. So I give Wednesday end of day as the deadline. Everyone should try to discipline yourself as well as complete the endeavor. If you don't complete the endeavor, means you are not doing the yajna part of your duty. Diksha, you have a question?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay, let's hear from Chaitanya Chandas, where he will explain that we have our material duties, which is very good, we are doing. Simultaneously, we need to do spiritual duties side by side. So some of you answered, oh, I have my studies and material duties and family duties. Then what about spiritual duties? Some of you answered, oh, I should prioritize spiritual duties. Well, then what happens to your family? So we need a balance. Let's hear from Chaitanya Chandas and take notes, and we'll come back to discussing this.
That is what? Yajna Karma Samudbhava. What does Yajna Karma Samudbhava means? That the karma is not just our worldly obligations. And actually, it is a part of our karma is to do yajna. And in today's society, many people think that it is their duty to take care of their family members, to take care of themselves, to do duties to their relatives, and they think this is what is our duty, this is what God has told us to do, and this is what we will do. Yes, that is definitely true, that we have to do, but that is not the complete scope of our duties. Actually, taking care of the one's children, say, is something which even animals do. Taking care of family members is something which even animals do in many ways. So the birds take care of their babies. So that alone doesn't complete the scope of human duties. Now, human duties involve rising to a higher level, where we take care not just of others' bodies, but take care of others' souls also. And when we take care not just of our bodies, but our own souls also. If we're just taking care of the bodies, our own bodies and the bodies of our loved ones, then we are doing our duties, but we're not doing our complete duties. So Srila Prabhupada explains that a mother's or a parent's love for the children is natural and necessary, but it is not spiritual. It is natural and necessary. What is the meaning of natural and necessary? Natural means when a couple, they unite and give birth to a child, by the arrangement of material nature, they develop affection for that child. So by the arrangement of nature, their affection is created. It is natural and it is necessary. Necessary means that such affection actually enables us to live in this world. In many species, when the young ones are born, at that time they need the care of their parents. Without that, they will not be able to grow. So that is necessary. So by the arrangement of nature, what is necessary is also arranged for through the feelings for affection that are there. Now, this is in no way meant to minimize the sacrifice that the parents do for the children, that is definitely true. That they do sacrifice and that is laudable. At the same time, that doesn't make it spiritual. Spiritual is that which is connected with the soul.
Okay, what did he explain? Somebody quickly, we have a lot to cover. Somebody? Sumnima?
That taking care of body and our close ones is not the complete duty, and taking care of all the souls is our complete duty.
Okay. Rest of you, anything else to add? What's the key point he said about Yajna Karma Samudbhava? Quickly.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. A part of karma is, the yajna is also a part of our karma.
Okay, very good. So studying Bhagavad Gita is part of devotional service, is part of your spiritual duties. So don't just verbalize that I am doing spiritual duties. No, show by actions. Otherwise, you are only doing your material duties and you are just verbalizing that that I do not have any interest in material world, and you are just verbalizing that Krishna is everything for me. By simply verbalizing Krishna is everything is like one spouse saying to the other, oh, I love you. But when it comes to taking care of the spouse and family, the person does not take care of family, says, oh, I don't have time. Meaning, the person does not have time for spouse and family. So what good was saying, I love you? To love means to serve. Bhagavad Gita study, devotional service is for the pleasure of Krishna. So if you have feelings for Krishna within your heart, then express it externally. We have discussed from day one that join 5 to 8 minutes ahead of time of the class start time. Listen to Kirtan just as today, how we were listening to very soothing Kirtan. Prepare your consciousness. Do your spiritual endeavors. I mean, sometimes you may have a challenge, say you have exam or some emergency. That time is understandable. But not always you are completing the spiritual endeavor 10 minutes before the class. No, you have to do, as well as you have to regulate yourself to discipline yourself to complete the spiritual endeavor within the allotted deadline. You have 24 hours. Say you sleep for 6 to 8 hours. Say you work for about 8 to 10 hours, including traveling and eating. You still have a lot of hours left for yourself every day. You need to do spirituality activity as well. And you have to find a balance every day. It is not that you are only doing spirituality on the weekend, which it is good you're doing it, but you have to do it every day and you have to find a balance. Everybody on the same page? I mean, then we can listen to the second part.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, yeah, one question I had. Can I ask? Is it
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Prabhuji, if there is a mother who gives love to the child and at the same time, whatever knowledge she has on devotional services, on Bhagavad Gita, on everything, she passes to the child. How will I think of that mother? Is she doing her duty now? Because she is also progressing the child's soul then, right? Not just the body.
So the mother is uh, giving the child the spiritual avenue, which is the duty of the parent to give spiritual avenue to the child from day one, not just material duties. So he explained in the lecture we heard about necessity and natural, that yes, love is there naturally and this affection is also a necessity, but just that on itself does not become spiritual. Spirituality happens when you connect the soul to the super soul. So the mother giving the avenue for spirituality to the child, the mother is doing the duty to perfection by doing both yajna and karma, not just for herself, but as well as for the child as well. Follow me?
Oh, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Malti, was that you?
No, Prabhuji, all good. Thank you.
Somebody was trying to ask a question. I forget who it was. Okay, so let me play the second part of this lecture and we'll come back to discussing more on this point.
Because the privilege of human life is to explore and relish our spiritual avenue. So therefore, karma is not just taking care of our family members. So our duties are not just taking care of family members. It's important. We have to do that. But we also have to connect with God. So that we discussed about our horizontal relationship and vertical relationships. Only in human form can we pursue the vertical relationship with Krishna. So it's a special privilege. And the performance of yajna essentially is the opportunity is the means by which we can pursue the vertical relationship. So when we perform yajna, then yajna enables us to acknowledge the higher authority, centering ultimately on the Supreme Being, Krishna. So therefore, karma, yajna karma samudbhava. So samudbhava means born along with that, concomitant with that. So along with karma is yajna included. So we shouldn't think that when we go to a temple or we chant some holy names, we are doing some favor to God. Actually, I don't have to do it, but just to be a good person, I'm doing it. It's a part of our duty as human beings to take care of our material as well as our spiritual side. So karma brahmodbhavam vidhi. That's why from where do we come to know about a karma? We come to know about a karma from Shastra. Therefore, it says Brahma Aksharasam Karma Brahmodbhavam vidhi. So we move back. Karma Brahmodbhavam vidhi. So karma comes from the Vedas. Karma comes when we want to know about our karma, we cannot know it by our own speculative efforts. We have to seek the scriptural wisdom to know what are the duties that we are expected to perform. Now, in this whole cycle, actually, the Lord is the source of everything. Specifically, ultimately, the Lord is the source of all living beings. The Lord is the source of nature. The Lord is the source of the yogic rituals. The Lord is the source of the scriptures. But specifically, the Lord is not visible to us. The Lord is not directly visible to us. Because the Lord, Krishna, the Supreme Lord, is spiritual, whereas we are currently at the material level of consciousness. So therefore, the spiritual realm and the material realm, what is the connecting link? That is the scripture. The spiritual realm becomes accessible to us in the material realm through scriptural wisdom.
Okay, what did he explain quickly?
Hare Krishna.
Okay.
So Prabhu has explained two things. First of all, the only duty for human being is not to serve the family, but to serve the God as well. So by doing so, he can develop horizontal as well as vertical relationship. And the second part is how to connect to God. So through scriptures, we can connect to God because God is unmanifested to us in this material world.
So that's a very important line how the lecture ended, that the connection between material realm and the spiritual realm is the scriptures. Scriptures become accessible to us. Spiritual becomes accessible to us through the scriptures. Everybody on the same page?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
So let me tell you about what your duties are. So what is your prescribed duty? Scriptures explain the principle of prescribed duty means whatever honorable job you have, as long as your job is honorable in the material world. So not honorable jobs, maybe examples are, say you are a thief, or say you are a butcher, selling meat, etc. Those are not honorable jobs. So as long as your job is honorable, that allows you to earn just about enough money to maintain your body and soul together, to maintain your family, and simultaneously you have enough time for spirituality on a day-to-day basis in general, that is your prescribed duty. Everybody on the same page? So some of you answered, I want to know about my duty. Do you know your duty now?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Rest of you,
Prabhuji, what if we skip sometimes our sadhana, then what will happen?
Yeah, so you need to find a balance. Now, sadhana, you have to understand what you can skip and what you cannot skip. So for example, chanting, no, you cannot skip. You have to do it every day. Now, reading is something you can skip on a particular day because whatever emergency is there, as long as you come back and catch up on that. I'll give my own example and I'll explain this balance with an example. So I'm an accountant. During year-end time, for example, now December is going on, and same thing will happen in March. I have extra work pressure. So I have to bend towards materiality. So some days I may not read. As long as I come back when the work pressure is finished, as long as I come back and catch on. To understand this balance between yajna and karma, means the balance between material duties and spiritual duties, understand you are riding a bicycle. You are riding a bicycle and you have the handle straight. Now you have to tilt or you have to turn. So you will tilt the handle to make the turn. And if after you make the turn, if you don't tilt your handle back in the straight position, then you will keep turning and you will fall down. Meaning, when there is extra work pressure, or say how Himanshu Prabhu is studying, some days he will have exams. He will have to spend more time on exams. So you have to tilt towards completing your material duties. On those days, you can skip, say, reading. Japa you cannot skip. That is mandatory. So there are certain mandatory sadhana you have to do. And when those material tasks are accomplished, then you bring the steering wheel back in a straight position, means you turn back and again catch up on whatever you had missed and find your balance again. So balance is not static. Balance is like a compass that as long as you are moving in the right direction of spirituality. Malti and everybody, does that help?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, if someone's sick and not able to even do the chanting, and if they try to do chanting without concentration, is that called sadhana too?
Yeah, that is still called sadhana. So there are exceptions. Now, the sadhana, we are not stringent and carved in stone. So there are exceptions for somebody who is sick. So my spiritual master was recently asked this question where one devotee was hospitalized. He had COVID-like symptom or probably COVID, and he was coughing. So he said, Guru Maharaj, and he's actually an initiated devotee. So he said, Guru Maharaj, I cannot chant. I'm just coughing the whole day. And other times I'm sleeping. What do I do? So my Guru Maharaj said, no, this is an exception. This is special circumstance. So my Guru Maharaj said, keep track of what all japa you are missing and then catch on that japa. So these are exceptions. You cannot apply exceptions on a regular basis. You have to apply exceptions in exceptional circumstances. Malti?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Prabhuji, what if we are in business and our overall goal is to, as our prescribed duty is to make more money? So, how to do that? I mean, in
Making
business,
money is not the goal of human life. We just heard
mean-
from Chaitanya Chandas. You have to
I
find
mean,
a balance. As long as you have balance, whether you are working or whether you are running a business, you have to find a balance between yajna, karma, samudbhava. So, Nima,
so okay, so Prabhuji, like suppose I'm working 8 hours, and is it all right that in that 8 hours I try my best in the business, and then because that is what I'm supposed to do as the duty, and then after that time for material, world duties are done, then I not think about it. Is it that how we do it?
doing your sadhana every day, you don't have to be stringent that I will do every day morning 8 o'clock, I will do sadhana. No, it is not possible for anybody. We are under the control of modes. Our mind is agitated. Material world is a place of misery. As long as you complete your sadhana as early as possible. Sometimes may not be possible. At least do your sadhana, even if it is little bit of lesser quality. But our goal is to move towards improving our sadhana. Sumnima?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Monarch, last question.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I still have a confusion in the last line. Yagna is born of prescribed duty. So Prabhu, prescribed duty is material level and Yagna is a spiritual level. So how can I understand that spiritual level is born of material
It's
level
in
duty?
samudbhava means bond together. That both you have two sets of duties. You have material duties of taking care of yourself and your family, as well as you have spiritual duties to purify yourself and go back home to God. So it says samudbhava.
Okay, Prabhu, thank you.
Follow me, verse 16 translation. So 3.16.
Yes,
Krishna explains what happens if one does not follow this cycle of yajna, which we discussed in 3.14 and 15. Follow me?
Yes, Prabhuji. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. My dear Arjuna, one who does not follow in human life the cycle of sacrifice thus established by the Vedas certainly leads a life full of sin. Living only for the satisfaction of the senses, such a person lives in vain.
Very nice reading with emphasis. We were supposed to read the purport. It's a very important purport. In essence of time, right now we'll skip and you read as part of your spiritual endeavor for today. So yajna system is so designed that persons may satisfy their desires without being entangled in the reaction of sense gratification work. So when there is dharma, artha, and then kama, then one does not get entangled so much, and gradually one will be elevated and liberated. Now he says, we read in the verse that life goes in vain if you do not follow. So question is, why life goes to waste? The answer is, if one simply continues the cycle of birth and death and does not seek the absolute truth, meaning he is only doing the karma portion of the duties and not doing the yajna portion of the duties. So Sri Ishopanishad, mantra number 3, describes that such a person is killer of the soul. Now, such people live in vain because they do not know what is the ultimate goal of life, and they don't care to know, and they live in violation of the will of Supreme Lord. Now, killer of the soul, how can soul be killed? So the killer of the soul emphasizes that if you are only doing your karma, material duties, then you will be continuing the cycle of birth and death for eternity. Means you will be completely in this suffering environment. Essentially, you are killing the soul because you are not giving any avenue for the soul to go back home to Godhead. So let me summarize this section 2, of which is verses 10 to 16. The title is From Karma Kanda to Karma Yoga. So here Krishna gives instruction by contrasting. That first he said that do yajna, then you will stay free from karmic bondage. And next he said that if you satisfy the demigods, demigods will satisfy you, and thus you will live happily and attain Shreyas. And then he says that Krishna gives the alternative trajectory, that if you don't follow this above steps, this process of yajna, then one lives in vain. Questions, comments, realizations? Okay. Section 3 is split into 3 subsections. The first subsection is verses 17 to 24. Title is Karma Yoga. Perform prescribed work with detachment to set an example. So if you recall the overview of chapter 3, we discussed all this, that how Arjuna was trying to get out of the war. And Krishna is now explaining this step-by-step process. That first he explained Karma Kanda. Now he says, okay, don't stick at Karma Kanda level, because Karma Kanda is very low. You have to advance to the next level up, which is Karma Yoga. So Krishna will continue this explanation with comparison between Karma Kanda and Karma Yoga. Dhara, verse 17 translation.
Text 17. But for one who takes pleasure in the self, whose human life is one of self-realization, and who is satisfied in the self only, fully satiated, for him there is no duty.
So isn't this what Arjuna said before? That if one who is conscious of you, O my Lord, then he has no duty to perform. And if one is totally detached from the fruits of his work, then why do anything? Especially why fight? So better I would just go meditate in the forest and study scriptures. So Krishna will go on to respond that act out of duty to set an example for others. Now question may come up. What does it mean such a person has no duty? The answer is, Krishna is talking about a person who has transcended the scope of duty. In the material world, when we take something, we are expected to give something back, meaning we live in a reciprocal world. So parents take care of children, and when children grow up, children are expected to take care of parents. And same way, when we take things from demigods, then we are supposed to do yajna for demigods. But Krishna is saying, if someone is self-satisfied, if a person is not seeking anything externally, one who is self-satisfied, for such there is no duty. Now, who is self-satisfied? Is purely elevated. So the word Atma comes 3 times. That when a person is turned inwards, is satisfied inwards, is illuminated inwards, at that time the person does not seek anything external. But if a person is not seeking anything externally, one who is self-satisfied, for such there is no duty. When we don't seek anything externally, then we are freed from our external obligations. This is a very elevated stage. Generally, Gyan yogis are expected to be at this stage. Gyan yogis renounce the world and they go to the forest to meditate, and thus they transcend their material existence and return back to spiritual realm of existence. Krishna will go on to explain in 12.5 that Gyan Yoga process is very difficult to follow in this embodied living stage, and therefore Krishna does not recommend Gyan Yoga at all. Understand, Bhagavad Gita is universal. So there are principles applicable in other yugas, and therefore they are there in Bhagavad Gita, but we have to follow what is applicable for us. Everybody on the same page? Questions, comments, realizations? Padma Kumar Prabhu, 18 translation.
A self-realized man has no purpose to fulfill in the discharge of his prescribed duties, nor has he any reason not to perform such work, nor has he any need to depend on any other living being.
So for such a transcendental person, doing duty or not doing duty are both equal. So what Krishna is saying to Arjuna, that if you are so elevated that you think you are at a Gyan Yoga level, and you are self-satisfied, then it should not make any difference whether you are in forest or you are on the battlefield. Diksha, verse 19 translation.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty, for by working without attachment, one attains the supreme.
So Arjuna is being advised to do his duty with detachment. Krishna is saying that if you think you are self-satisfied, that you don't need the kingdom or family and go to forest and be satisfied, but no, you should still do your duty. As I explained, I will repeat the line. Krishna says that if you think you are so elevated, you are self-satisfied, then it should not make any difference whether you are in forest or on the battlefield. So frustration with material life is not a qualification for spiritual life, that one may drop out of studies and become a brahmachari. No, frustration will not lead to renounced order. But there has to be positive attraction to Krishna and Krishna's services towards spiritual life. Positive attraction for spiritual life is tested and demonstrated by sustained commitment to devotional service. And in the next 3 verses, Krishna will give an example to support his above argument to do the duty without attachment. Any questions, comments, realizations?
Prabhuji,
Follow me, go ahead.
it looks like only Sri Krishna has been doing this, na?
Doing what?
Doing the duty yet not doing the duty, because he is the only one who doesn't get anything in return.
So hold
Probably.
on. He will give example of others
Oh,
also. For example,
yeah.
he'll give the example of Janak Maharaj in the upcoming verse.
Oh, okay. Others have also done it.
It's not Krishna.
Oh,
It's not Krishna alone. No. Krishna is explaining
okay.
that
I
this
used to think.
Krishna consciousness,
Hmm.
the time-tested process, and he will give examples for Janak Maharaj very soon. That he is also. There are many who have attained perfection through this process of by doing the duty.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. I was assuming that maybe he's the only one and it's impossible to do it.
Somebody else wanted to ask something. Matan Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Matan
Prabhuji,
Prabhu?
this concept of doing any sort of activities without being attached to its fruits. Prabhuji, especially I have this tendency that if I'm not attached to the result of my any sort of activities, I would do it with half heart, Prabhuji.
Yes, you are correct. So we have discussed this in 2.47 and we also discussed 5.11. That 5.11 says that there are 3 levels of why somebody would work. Materialistic level of work is that I will do task number A so that I get something in return. This is at the lowest materialistic level. We have to rise to the next level, that I will do the task for my purification. And when we get purified, that's when we will come to the highest level of doing the task for the satisfaction of Krishna. So it's good that you at least know, but then you have to rise about to what the message just got posted in the chat, that the last line 3.19 says Nishkam Karma Yoga. That do with detachment, that is Nishkam Karma Yoga. Diksha and everybody?
Prabhuji, like theoretically, we know that we have to like work with detachment, but in practice, it doesn't happen. So
Yeah, so it's a good starting point that at least you know theoretically you are better than materialistic people. So it's a step-by-step process. You need purification. And the process for purification is to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, serve devotees, do devotional services. And little by little, this purification will happen. Well, you will realize that material world, I don't belong. That is explained at great length in Srimad Bhagavatam. I am not giving a class on Srimad Bhagavatam right now. But it's explained at great length that when you understand your relationship with the Lord, you understand your relationship with material nature, and you understand that you are here because of your enjoying mentality, which bounds you in the material world, well, that's when you will drop all these contaminated activities and you will work towards your purification. So, Diksha, you are at a good starting point. You just have to continue and the purification will happen little by little, and you will come to the point where you will realize that, oh no, I don't need to be attached. It's exactly like a drunkard. That drunkard thinks that the irresistible drinking, he thinks it is essential. But when he goes through the therapy, he thinks and realizes, oh no, I don't need to drink. So right now we discussed this in 2.13 that we all are not sober. The words 2.13 has the word sober. We all are not sober. What is this not sober? We are intoxicated with our body. But as we get purified, then we will realize, no, I don't need to get attached to the body. Diksha?
Prabhuji, this realization also like makes us like have no desire to like achieve something in life. So is that a good thing?
So we have discussed this in 2.71 purport. The very first line says, to desire for Krishna is desirelessness. Otherwise, if you try to empty your consciousness, meaning you have no desires, that does not exist. You will fail. You just have to transform. So what does transformation mean, or what does purification mean? Transformation and purification means you replace your material with spiritual. So we have discussed this example that say a drunkard has the desire to drink, and he's then advised, okay, every time you have a craving to drink, eat chocolate. Well, now he will become addicted to chocolate. So chocolate is a lesser evil than drinking, but it is still evil because it is still material. What has to happen is he has to give up the desire to drink by going through the therapy. Means he's elevating himself. That's what we have to do. That we are right now going through this therapy of studying scriptures, of doing japa, doing devotional services, so that we purify ourselves and transform our material desires and replace them with spiritual desires. Diksha?
Prabhuji, then what would happen to my material duties, like pursuing further education or
So you
getting
have
a
to
job?
dovetail. We have discussed, you have to dovetail everything in Krishna's service. So you have to do just about enough material tasks to keep your body and soul together so that you can spend more time on spirituality. So there's a question posted in the chat. Explain self. I don't understand the question. Can you please unmute and explain what you are asking? Okay. So we'll continue with verse number 20. Gulshan, verse 20 translation. Gulshan. Okay. Himanshu Prabhu, verse 20 translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I was reading, but I was unmute.
Okay, go ahead, Gulshan, go ahead.
Sorry. Even kings like Janak and others attained the perfection stage by performance of prescribed duties. Therefore, just for the sake of educating the people in general, you should perform your work.
So just was Paulami was asking a few minutes ago, Krishna gives the example of Janak, that he attained perfection solely by performing his prescribed duties. So Krishna is saying, don't think that by doing one's prescribed duties, one cannot attain perfection. No, he's giving example, live example of King Janaka. So Krishna is telling Arjuna that it is not that activity causes bondage. Rather, one's internal mentality causes bondage. If one is detached, then one will not be bound. And when one does his duty while being detached, then simultaneously one also sets a good example for others to follow. From the next verse, Krishna will give his own example. And this is the first place in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna will state his supreme position. And we will have a heavy discussion about the spiritual endeavor that you all had. Okay, Monarch Prabhu, 21 translation.
Hare Krishna. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow, and whatever standards he sets by exemplary act, all the world pursues.
So spiritual models are the best. If one is not spiritual, at least those in mode of goodness who are concerned for well-being of others, such models will elevate others also. So if you look through in today's society, sin is considered to be fashionable. So question becomes, what exactly is exemplary behavior? The answer is that there has to be a certain universal standard for what is exemplary. Changing norms in the society cannot be exemplary. You cannot lower the standard and then say, oh, I am following the standard. No, you lower the standard. That is not exemplary. Universal standards come from scriptures. Those who live according to scriptures, they can influence others in enormous ways. So from verse number 22, 23, and 24, we read last time that Krishna is giving his own example, and you all had a spiritual endeavor to complete whether Krishna is setting a good example. So have undivided attention on this really important and a very heavy discussion. So the purpose of these seemingly innocuous open-ended question, which Himanshu Prabhu correctly pointed out a few minutes ago, that, well, these are mind-boggling questions. So my questions are not to disrespect Krishna and not to make fun of anyone. Rather, the purpose is that you all already have faith and devotion in Krishna. But when you meet materialistic people who may have a question that what kind of God is this Krishna, that he steals butter, dances with others' wives, etc., then you have to take ownership of this Bhagavad Gita philosophy and be able to answer to materialistic person properly, rather than telling to the materialistic person that you cannot understand Bhagavad Gita unless you study Bhagavad Gita. No. You have studied Bhagavad Gita. You have faith and devotion in Krishna. Then you take ownership of this Bhagavad Gita philosophy and you explain the philosophy to others in simple language. So I will bring up on screen the answers that the devotees submitted for this spiritual endeavor question. So the question was, we read verses 22, 23, and 24, chapter 3, where Krishna says that he does everything to set example. So the question becomes, does Krishna set a good example for others? Because Krishna is very well known to steal butter, to dance with others' wives, etc. Now, many of you answered yes, and you tried to defend your answer. One devotee stood out, and the devotee asked this question. So the devotee's inquiry was, or is, that we all devotees would understand the transcendental nature of the Lord and his activities. But what about neophytes? How would neophyte make sense of his activities that he is dancing with others' wives in the middle of night? That is super excellent on the part of devotee who sent this question as part of the answer. So have undivided attention. I, Ramvilas, I am going to become devil's advocate for both sides of the answers. Whether you answered yes or no, I am going to become devil's advocate. Why? It's not that I am a negative person. It's not that I am a person only looking at negative points. No. Rather, my intent is to remove misconceptions. So from those who responded, roughly 70.6% agreed that yes, Krishna sets a good example. And rest of you either said that they disagree or some said, I don't know how to answer. Either way, you are not in the agree category. So as I will start speaking, these color schemes will change. So right now looks like those who answered agree is in green and those who answered disagree is in red. And because I will be devil's advocate for both sides, so these color schemes will switch where agree will become red and disagree will become green. Everybody ready for the fun?
Yes,
Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
All right. So my purpose is that I am causing this deliberate confusion so that misconceptions can be removed. My role is to remove misconceptions because tomorrow, when you go out on preaching, some of you are already preaching, ordinary people are going to ask you that what kind of God is this Krishna? That you all should be able to answer this question of materialistic person. Now, those of you who say Krishna does not set a good example, therefore it's in red color on the screen. Now we read in 3.24, I will soon read again, that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is no truth higher than Krishna. Now I am not disclosing anybody's names here. Therefore, anyone can answer this question from all of you. That if Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna and Krishna's words are non-different than Krishna. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 3.24 that if I did not do prescribed duties properly, then I will be responsible for ruination. And those of you who are disagreeing, are you not disagreeing with Krishna's words? Everybody, somebody wants to answer? Whether or not you answered no. So if your answer is that you disagree that Krishna does not set good example, are you not disagreeing with Krishna, who is Supreme Personality of Godhead? Yes, no, anybody?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So those of you who are still being afraid, because many of you answered yes, you will soon realize that you answered in fear. My next conversation, the color scheme will change, where the agree answer is going to become the problem answer. So far many of you were silent. Let's see if you still stay silent. So those of you who answered that Krishna does set a good example, many also gave a lot of reasoning that Krishna sets a good example, and simultaneously many of you also qualified your answer that I am not supposed to imitate, that Krishna is doing his activities like God. So aren't you qualifying your statement? Plus all those who agree that Krishna sets a good example. So answer to me right now that I am an ordinary materialistic person right now. I am not Ram Vilas. I am an ordinary materialistic person. I have not studied Bhagavad Gita. I don't know Krishna is God. And you are preachers. You have come to talk to me that Krishna is God. But somehow through television or somewhere, I have heard that Krishna steals butter, that Krishna dances with others' wives in the middle of night, etc., etc. Therefore, I, as an ordinary person, I am asking you all, what kind of God is this Krishna? What kind of example is Krishna setting? Everybody, now please answer to me. What will you all answer? So majority of you, 70.6% answered you agree. Now you answer to me. I am an ordinary materialistic person. Exactly the question the devotee asked, the most perfect question. how are you going to answer? Silence, I got silence. Okay, one devotee says Krishna is present in butter and wives, so that point is correct. But I, an ordinary person, I don't know this philosophy.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Malti, go ahead.
This activity happened when Krishna was little. And this happened in Vrindavan, and Vrindavan is mode of love. So whatever happened when Krishna was little, so people cannot judge that he was butter stealer or dancing with other wife.
Okay, very good point. Okay, so let me explain further. So what I am trying to do here is I am trying to make you all own this Bhagavad Gita philosophy so that you will be able to explain to ordinary people when you go out on book distribution. We knock doors of ordinary people. We show them Bhagavad Gita, Krishna book, and this ordinary person may sometime or have actually asked that what kind of God is Krishna that he steals butters and dances with others' wives in the middle of night, etc. So on the response from devotees that Krishna, some also responded that Krishna did other activities such as he went to Gurukul, he accepted Guru, etc. So there are some good activities also he did. So question becomes, how do you distinguish? It seems Krishna has done few activities that are seemingly inappropriate. And then there are few activities that are appropriate. So how do you distinguish? Why I am trying to grill you all is because I want your misconceptions gone. On the response that if you want to understand that Krishna's activities of stealing butter, dancing with others, gopis are transcendental, then you first have to elevate yourself. No. If you want to become a preacher means you are a firefighter. People are burning in the material world. Even though the people don't know that they are burning, you have become advanced enough so that you can bring ordinary people out of the material world burning ignorance. Just as the firefighter goes inside the burning building to rescue the occupants of the building. The firefighter does not stand on the door and ask people to come out. No, he goes in. So this answer you give to ordinary people that you become elevated first, that ordinary person is bound to respond that take your book and go away. I am not interested. Even though the person is suffering in the material world. Bottom line, you all have to come to the elevated level of owning this Bhagavad Gita philosophy so that you are able to explain to anyone that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead and his activities are transcendental. We'll soon hear from His Grace Chaitanya Chandas on this very important point. Let me first explain few more points. So to get the proper understanding, we'll hear from Chaitanya Chandas where this color scheme of agree is green and disagree is red, or agree is red and disagree is green, it will not matter. Basically, Malti correctly pointed out that all these mischievous activities that Krishna did, like stealing butter, etc., Krishna did during his childhood. Krishna lived in Vrindavan for 11 years, then in Mathura for 29, up to the age of 29. And for majority of the time, Krishna lived in Dwarka as a king up to the age of 125. So what Krishna is talking about in these verses in chapter 3, verses 22 to 24, of setting an example is when he was a king. And for the childhood mischievous activities, the example being set there also is that Krishna will do whatever it takes to increase the devotion of devotees. So all of you should own the Bhagavad Gita philosophy and should know Krishna not just like a doctor knows a child patient, but know Krishna just as a mother knows the child. So what's the analogy of the doctor patient here? The doctor child patient analogy is that doctor may know the blood pressure, the fever temperature, etc. of the child, but the doctor does not know the child. The doctor only knows some of these parameters. But the mother knows the child even though she may not know these parameters. Mother knows what the child likes and what the child dislikes. Similarly, all of you should come to the level of knowing Krishna, not just the parameters of where he was born, what he did, rather come to know as to what is Krishna's mentality. So before playing Chaitanya Chandasa's first part of the lecture, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna explains that Krishna is not attracted by Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. Vaidhi sadhana bhakti means that you are doing chanting, devotional service, reading because somebody has told you, because Guru has told you, or you are doing it out of fear, or you are doing it as a duty. Krishna says, I am not attracted by that at all. Krishna is attracted by spontaneous devotional service that is seen in Gopas and Gopis of Vrindavan. So you all come to that level, not artificially, come to that level by understanding all this discussion. So let me play Chaitanya Chanda's lecture and we'll come. I still have a lot of talking to do on this point, and we'll come back to hearing and discussing more on this point. Let me play the first part.
Still, what Krishna does is atandritaha. He's attentively doing his duties. And that's how he sets an example for others. Now, someone may say, but Krishna, what duties did he do? Especially when he was Vrindavan, he was stealing butter. So is stealing butter exemplary? Do we want all the children in the world to start stealing butter? Do we want, say Krishna, say dance with the Gopis? So from the external point of view, the Gopis were other men's wives. So why was Krishna doing such a thing? Is that what we want Krishna to do? How is that example? So there are several points to understand in this. That Vrindavan is the abode of love. And when Krishna was in Vrindavan, he did not take up any public leadership position. He was just a small child, and when he became an administrator, when he became a part of publicly of the Yadu dynasty, and then he started taking an active role in protecting them and in safeguarding their interests. So then from that time, Krishna was atandritaha. So what happens in Vrindavan is, at that time Krishna had not taken a leadership position. Another point to understand is, in Vrindavan, Vrindavan is a transcendental abode. So there is no need for setting an example. There it's simply the example of pure love. And the example of pure love is whatever will increase and intensify the love in the hearts of his devotees, Krishna does that. So that's what Krishna will do in Vrindavan. So there is the role of dharma, and there is the arena, the realm, the arena of dharma, and there is the arena of prema. So when Krishna is acting in Mathura, in Dwarka, in Hastinapur, he is in the arena of dharma. And there he sets an example. In Vrindavan, there is the arena of prema. There is also an example. The Vrajavasis, in fact, are examples for all Gaudiya Vaishnavas, in fact for all Vaishnavas, about how one should be absorbed in Krishna constantly. That is also an example of a different kind in Vrindavan. But with respect to, here Krishna is talking about social responsibility. So social responsibility means that Krishna is saying that you have to act in a way that will benefit others and not harm others. Krishna is saying, I am also doing.
Okay, what did he explain? Everybody able to explain this point to somebody and defend Krishna?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, only Diksha, rest of you?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Purnima?
Prabhuji, I get this asked a lot about the wives,
Mhm.
that so many wives, and I think it was not in Vrindavan.
Yeah, very good.
So how do I
So,
explain it
yeah,
to others?
very good. So Krishna is described in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 11, that Krishna had 16,108 wives. Now, this happened when he was a king. So, Somnima is hearing with rapt attention and also correlating with the question. So, very good hearing with rapt attention. So, this is described at great length in Canto 1, Chapter 11, where Krishna enters Dwarka, that these 16,108 wives are not ordinary females. These queens of Krishna are expansion of internal potency of Krishna, meaning the potent Krishna and the potency, the queens, are reciprocating rasa. In that same Canto 1, Chapter 11, it explains that Lord Ram, I'm saying Lord Ram embraces Hanuman. So both are males, right? Apparently, looks like, although Hanuman as a soul is not male, but if you look externally, Lord Ram embracing Hanuman is reciprocation of love in the Dasya Rasa. And now Krishna marrying 16,108 wives is reciprocation in the Madhurya Rasa. So both are reciprocation. Now Madhurya Rasa can either be Parakya, means unmarried, or Sokya, means married. So the kirtan that I was playing today morning had this Parakya Bhava. If you listen closely, that it glorified the Parakya Bhava also. The protection point is relevant here, that these females, means these 16,100 females, they were kidnapped by a king and Krishna saved them. Hence, these females said that no one will marry us because they were kidnapped by some other person. Hence, these females asked Krishna to marry them and Krishna fulfilled their desires. Of course, there is other pastime also as to who all these females were. Now, Krishna expanded himself 16,108 times, and Krishna did different activities with each of these queens at the same time. So Narad Muni is visiting all these palaces, and in one palace he's seeing Krishna is being served by one of the queen, offering bhoga. In another palace he goes at the same time. Krishna is taking rest and the queen is massaging the feet. In another place, Krishna is doing some Ras Leela. So Krishna expanded himself in 16,108 times, and Prabhupada goes on to explain in the purport that if Krishna expands himself 16,108 million times for 16,108 million wives, still it's a very small fraction of how big Krishna is. Further, the important point explained is that there was no tinge of lust. when some of the queens, they tried to attract Krishna by some smiling gestures or trying to attract Krishna artificially through their looks, etc. Krishna's transcendental senses were not agitated at all. Only by devotional service were the queens able to attract Krishna. So you have to understand with the context that there is text and there is context. If you look at the text without the context, then yes, looks like he had so many wives, but there was no lust involved here. Sumnima and everybody, does that answer the question?
Yes, Prabhuji. So if I have to explain it to materialistic people,
Materialistic people.
Materialistic people, I would just say he did it to save the queens without trying to further explain, right, Prabhuji?
Repeat, he did what?
He did it to according to the queen's desires.
Yeah, to reciprocate. Right? So Lord Ram embracing Hanuman or Krishna marrying 16,108 wives is identical. It's a reciprocation. There is no lust involved here.
Okay. Thank you.
Everybody on the same page? Questions, comments, realizations before I play the second part?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Diksha, go ahead.
Prabhuji, as per my understanding, Krishna gave opportunities to those queens to like serve him. Like I can understand this because I have very little knowledge about Lord Krishna, but Prabhuji, does this not still give the message out to the normal people that they can actually go out for so many wives?
Yeah. So hold on to your point for a little more. We'll explain the as soon as I play the second part of the lecture, it will get answered. If it does not, you can bring it up. Okay. So let's play the second part. We'll get Diksha's question answered that how do you understand that Krishna does so many inhuman activities, looks like inhuman, where he lives Govardhan Hill or marries 16,000 plus wives. So what exactly are the point being explained here? Let me play the second part and we'll come to discussing this.
That when the Lord or the great personalities, they come to this world, at that time their actions are in two phases. One are those which are to set an example, and the other are those which are set to those which are done to demonstrate their position. That both are important purposes. One is to set an example. So for example, Lord Ram, he dutifully he was a Maryada Purushottam. So he did whatever as a king, as a son, as a husband. He acted in an exemplary way. So that is what is he doing by that? He is actually practicing the principle of setting an example. At the same time, there are other situations when other incarnations, their focus may not be on setting an example. Their focus is on demonstrating their position. So when Krishna displays the Virat Rupa, that is not an example. He says, whenever anybody is in doubt, I will show my Virat Rupa. But I don't have any Virat Rupa. How can I show? Only Krishna has Virat Rupa. So when Mother Yashoda asks Krishna to open the mouth, he shows the whole universe within his mouth. So we can't do all these things. So there are certain pastimes of Krishna which are simply meant to demonstrate his transcendental position, his supreme position. And those pastimes have to be understood as such, that they are meant to demonstrate his supremacy, not to be imitated.
Okay, so certain pastimes are meant to explain his supremacy. So just as Diksha correctly asked, I'm hoping it answers that he married 16,000 plus wives to demonstrate that he is transcendental. He can expand so many times. Prabhupada goes on to say that if Krishna had not just 16,108, but if Krishna had 16,108 million wives, that still would be Nothing, even if Krishna expanded in so many millions of forms. All those expansions of Krishna were all at original Krishna's Swamsa expansion. So those who follow Ashtanga Yoga, they can also expand themselves. And the maximum count, I think, is 9. And in those 9 expansions, the Ashtanga Yogi cannot do different tasks. Yeah, he has 9 expansions, but he can do only one task in those 9 expansions. Here in the 16,108, Krishna did different activities just to emphasize that Krishna is transcendental and that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Diksha, does that answer rest of you?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Everybody on the same page on a very important question. Himanshu Prabhu, you enjoyed the question? Everybody enjoyed the question?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, so let's read the verses 22 to 24 translations. And I will ask you a question very soon. Malti, 22 to 24 translations.
Hare Krishna. Text 22. O son of Pratha, there is no work prescribed for me within all the 3 planetary systems, nor am I in want of anything, nor have I need obtain anything, and yet I am engaged in prescribed duties. Text 23. For if I ever fail to engage in carefully performing prescribed duty, O Pratha, certainly all men would follow my path. Text 24. If I did not perform prescribed duties, all this world would be put to ruination. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population and would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings. Hare Krishna.
So Krishna is explaining all this, that when he was king, that's when he was explaining that he has taken up duties, administrative duties. He's a king and he's setting example for others. Other that we know activities like stealing butter and other mischievous activities, they were all done while he was child in Vrindavan. And we also heard from Chaitanya Chandas that Vrindavan is a place of prema. And the example being set there is by Vrajvasis, that how the Vrajvasis are constantly absorbed in Krishna. Questions, comments, realizations? Everybody comfortable?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So I have a question for all of you. All of you try to answer this. You thought the fun questions were over. Not yet. So Krishna stole butter. And when Mother Yashoda caught him, Krishna said, "No, I did not steal butter." So the question for all of you is Krishna lying, means speaking untrue? Everybody please answer. Is Krishna lying by saying that he did not steal butter?
No, Prabhuji.
No, Prabhuji.
Why not?
Because everything is Krishna's anyway, so he's not stealing.
Okay, follow me.
Prabhuji, he's the proprietor, so he owns it.
Okay. So one devotee says that yes, Krishna is lying. Very good. I got different answers. Very good. Rest of you, please answer.
Prabhuji, I think he's setting an example as to how kids like would act.
Yeah,
So
but no, that is correct. You are correct that way. My point is that he gets caught. Now understand, even when Krishna is kid, he's still Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Mother Yashoda, he says, "No, I did not steal." Diksha, what?
Prabhuji, that's lie. That's lie.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Malti, go ahead.
He lies because Gopi also like their lies.
Okay.
Gopis used to
Very
do that.
good. Very good. Rest of you, please answer. Is Krishna lying?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Krishna is not lying. It's just the exchange of rasa between mother and child.
That's okay, but is he lying or not? Forget rasa right now. He stole butter, and when he got caught, he says, "No, I did not steal." So is he not lying, Monarch Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu, he is lying.
Mm. So Supreme Personality of Godhead can speak lie? Matan Prabhu?
Yeah, he's lying because he has some plans. He wanted to show
Okay.
something.
Okay. I already have different answers. I did not get a unanimous yes or no. Everybody realizes? Anybody still feeling boring Bhagavad Gita philosophy classes?
No, Prabhuji.
Himanshu Prabhu, you are here for the first time. You still find this boring? Anybody finds it boring? I still need answer from rest of you. Is Krishna lying or not? Gulshan, we cannot hear you.
Yes, Prabhuji, Krishna is lying.
Very good. Rest of you, silence doesn't help me. You want to become a Vrajvasi or not? Difficult question to answer again, eh?
Prabhuji, he's lying, but at the same time, he's not lying.
Doesn't work that way. Don't try to give a political answer or a lawyer answer. Is he lying or not? It's a black and white, yes or no.
I don't know, Prabhuji. I can't understand his pastimes or I don't know.
Very good. So my intent of this question, including the previous one, is Krishna setting an example. Did you all not have this thought throughout your week? Oh, how can anybody ask this question? Like Ritu was right away at the class last time itself. Oh, no, I cannot answer. This is a very difficult question. So did it not make you think about this or about Krishna throughout the week?
Yes, Prabhuji.
My task,
Like while
Yes,
every second
Prabhuji.
moment.
so my task is accomplished to make you remember Krishna.
Yes, definitely.
So Mansi, answer. Is he lying or is he not lying? Rest of you have not answered. Also answer. Mansi?
Yes, Prabhuji, he's lying, but he's lying for the satisfaction of the gopis, and then because he comes here to perform Leela, so he is doing the
Yeah,
Leela. At the
yeah.
same time, he's the proprietor.
Are you a lawyer, Mansi?
No, Prabhuji, no.
That's a lawyer response.
Because it is about Krishna, and Krishna is a supreme lawyer, so his answer must be like that only.
Okay. Rest of you have not answered. Is Krishna lying? I got silence. Many of you did not answer. So I want everyone to get the answer to this question. I want everyone to go to Bhagavad Gita, Sanskrit index towards the back of your Bhagavad Gita. And I want you to find Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasvam. Find the verse. Whosoever found, and if somebody is not able to find, please let me know. Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasvam. Somebody found?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, hold on.
It's 5.29.
Okay, rest of you. Anybody did not find? So silence doesn't help me. You need to endeavor and you also need to speak.
Prabhuji found it.
Yes, Prabhuji found it.
Okay. Okay. Mansi, the verse you found, you want to read the translation? So, of course, this is a key memorization verse. Bhoktaram yajna tapasvam sarva loke maheshwaram swatram sarva bhutanam gyatva mam shantim rachati. Some devotees did memorize this verse also. Mansi, you want to read the translation? So it's 5.29.
Yes, Prabhuji. A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains the peace from the pangs of the material miseries.
Right? The supreme lord of all planets. So if everything belongs to the Lord, there's nothing to steal. It's already his. So when Krishna stole butter and Mother Yashoda said, "Did you steal?" and Krishna said, "No." So he was not lying because it already belongs to him. Everybody on the same page.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So we have about 5 minutes left for today's class. There are a lot of questions devotees have asked. So in our next class, I will start by answering all those questions. So that I don't want to keep those waiting any longer. I wanted to answer today, but our discussion went long. We had a required discussion. So first thing, I want those devotees who came for services at the Toronto temple last week, if you can explain what all you did, what all you learned, and what all your mind was doing. So there were many devotees. Let's see, Chaitanya Prabhu, Dhara, Himanshu, Mansi, Monarch, Matan, Paulomi, Raksha. Many of you were there. What all did you learn? What all challenges you faced? Everybody quickly.
Hare Krishna. So from learning point of view, Prabhu, we have tried to memorize a few verses.
Okay. What was going on there while you were trying to memorize?
While doing the service, Prabhu.
Yeah. While doing service, while you were trying to memorize, what was going on? Everybody quickly explain for the benefit of others. I told all those who were present to explain your experience to others because others are physically far away.
Prabhuji, like when you were not there, we would not memorize. Our minds would wander here and there. And as soon as you came, we would start memorizing verses.
Yeah, and everybody, this is common across all 5 batches, all 7 batches. Everybody will say, Dehino asmin yatha dehe, as soon as they see me. And then they call me Gabbar Singh. Hey, Gabbar Singh aa gaya. Memorize verses. So this is what your mind does. That the mind is given a task to memorize verses, but the mind keeps running away. So you have to keep bringing the mind back. Okay, Matan Prabhu?
Yeah, we forget the first verse when we move on to the next verse, and it's very hard to go back and
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, so everybody was, I memorized one verse. And then I said, okay, memorize the second, and then they forgot the first one. So you have to do continuous practice. Okay, so Abhishek Prabhu, yes, we keep the sheet in front of us while we are memorizing verses. Yes. Rest of you? Dara, Polomi, who else? Mansi.
Yes, Prabhuji, it
Yes,
was difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to start. You start by memorizing. So many say that I will chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And I tell them, when you do japa every day, do you listen to your japa? At least I don't. So you are not controlling the mind at all. By trying to memorize verses, you are taking yourself out of your comfort zone because it forces you to keep your mind on Krishna while you are cutting fruits and vegetables. So Krishna says this in chapter 5, verses 8 and 9, that let the body do what the body is supposed to do. Simultaneously, fix your mind on Krishna. By this activity, you are trying to separate the body and the mind and the soul. Right now, these are riveted together. I don't see any difference between my body, my mind, and my soul. But little by little, this memorization or trying to fix the mind on Krishna will become easier and easier as you progress. Anybody else who was present wants to add something?
Which actually at home it is very difficult to recite the verses, but after coming to the temple, like with the association of the devotees, it becomes more easy. So we should uh, do a devotee association at a certain time, so that we can also apply it into our day-to-day life.
Yeah, so you are correct that there is energy of devotees and therefore it becomes easier to memorize and you replicate. So yes, it can become difficult. Abhishek Prabhu, yes, we can chant loud at the temple. Other people are around. So all the devotees had continuously, there was a loud uproar, continuous going on in the kitchen as well as in the temple about memorizing. And as soon as the voice went away, then I came up, hey, what are you doing? Where's your mind? So I want to play recordings of two devotees. So Priya Darshini has memorized 2.13 and recited, and I will play her recording, as well as Paulomi. Last time when she was for service, she memorized 5.29, exactly the verse we read today. So let me play and see. So Priya Darshini, I don't know, she is physically far away. But Paulomi, when you will hear, Paulomi actually memorized while doing services. So let's hear.
देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्तिर्धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति.
Okay, very good recitation. Let's hear from Paulomi. So Paulomi memorized while doing services.
भोक्तारां यज्ञतपसां सर्वलोकमहेश्वरां सुहृदं सर्वभूतानां ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिं मृच्छति.
Very good. Any questions, comments, realizations? Everybody can do this. So many of you are physically far away. So whatever services you do or whatever activities you do at your home or at your work, you can just memorize. and your whatever activity becomes Krishna conscious activity.
Sometimes the verses are getting mixed up. How can we keep them, like this line belong to that particular verse?
It's a matter of practice. All right. So I will repeat the announcement again I did at the start today. So those of you who are physically in Toronto and around area, there's an opportunity to reciprocate with our dear Dwarkanath Prabhu. He makes super excellent offering always, as well as he always keeps prasadam for all of us. So Dwarkanath Prabhu has requested that next Sunday, December 29th, not tomorrow, but next Sunday, December 29th, from 6:15 p.m. onwards, we do a Maha cleanup of Srimati Radharani's kitchen. So by 6:15, most of the Sunday feast activity will already be done. So I will send message in the separate WhatsApp group that we have for services. But everyone, I request, please come and reciprocate with Dwarkanath Prabhu. Are we okay to stop here? Oh, before I go, the homework is that you will read all the purports. You will listen to Prabhupada lecture, and I will also send from Krsna book, I will send chapters 8 and 9, which are childhood pastimes, which are the most cherished pastimes of the Lord, as well as I will send chapters 80 and 81, which is the pastime of Sudama visiting Krishna, just so that you can compare as to what Krishna did when he was child and what Krishna did when he was a king. Just the discussion that we were having, that Krishna sets examples. So I will post those in the group, and you can please read and bring your realizations next time. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Krishna Prabhuji, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
You.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.